Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Chats. This is our weekly vlog series here on YouTube, where we discuss some communication theories, talk about the applications, the practical impacts of them, and just get to have a generally good time exploring some more of the specific theories attached to communication. This week, we're going to be talking about Erving Goffman's presentation of self theory, which is one of my personal favorites. The presentation of self theory essentially describes how we present ourselves to others in our day-to-day lives. He does this through a theater metaphor, establishing that we self-present on two main areas, front stage and backstage. Front stage is going to be our more formal game time script following self. Scripts in this particular instance are referring to the more socially acceptable norms and procedures that we follow day to day, like not standing really close to people. Backstage is going to be our less formal, more intimate self, and it's said to be closer to our actual self most of the time. In both of these instances, we are creating this thing called face, and face is just going to be the way that we present ourselves to others, and the process of presenting ourselves is called face work. Andrea Guerin-Eagleman and Lauren Birch also do use the theory in our course textbook, which I have right here, to talk about Olympic female and male athletes on social media. So this theory has both been around for a long time, since 1959, and is continually being researched. Why did I pick this theory? Well, mostly because I have always been really fascinated in the different ways people present themselves in social situations. I have some friends who are very excitable, bubbly, very loud people in private, but are very quiet and reserved in public. And I have other friends who seem to have no face at all and seem to be consistent people no matter what environment that they're in. And so that's always been very fascinating to me. I know that I personally present differing versions of my own face depending on the situation and the people that I'm around. For more formal events, I'll be a little bit more reserved and professional. In casual settings where I know people, I'll be a little bit more fun. But in very small personal settings, I am the most myself, and that would be the most backstage. I am very curious exactly how we learn to doctor these versions of ourselves. I think of it kind of in psychology terms, so very nature versus nurture. Was this childhood influences? Did these things come about later in life? Are they cultural norms that are passed down? It's all just, I have no answers, but it is just all very interesting to me. To look at the overall quality of the theory, we're going to look at some main evaluative guidelines, and these are also coming out of our course textbook. Theoretical scope. This theory is very, very broad. It has massive practical application, as everybody does employ both a front and backstage self-presentation in some form. Logical consistency, this theory is super congruent all the way through, which ties into parsimony. This theory is very simple. It's very efficient. Heuristic value, the theory has generated several ideas in me personally, but I know there's been a lot of research throughout the years that has been done within face and self-presentation. Utility, super practical to our daily understanding. Everybody is doing this all of the time. And so being able to understand the ways that people are presenting themselves in different social situations is highly practical. Testability, Goffman's work is incredibly, incredibly cross-referenced and has been tested and retested by a lot of people in a lot of different ways over the years, so very testable. And test of time, it has been around since '59 and has remained in remarkably the same shape since it was first written. In terms of research that I would like to do, kind of wrapping back into that heuristic value point, I would really love to be doing some research on social media use and how it qualifies as front or backstage based on personal use. So private accounts being more backstage versus social media influencers who maybe do a lot more front stage work. I think this could be based in surveys or interviews. I think you'll probably get higher quality data through interviews, but surveys would definitely be possible as well. Additionally, I would love to know how face work functions in autistic or ADHD people who are neurodivergent. Is masking considered a form of face work? Likely something that would be more case study based for a more holistic view on how this impacts and affects all areas of somebody's life. So not the easiest thing to research, but definitely very interesting. Today in this vlog, we have discussed Goffman's presentation of self-theory, its elements, a couple of interesting potential research questions, its merit as a theory, and future research within the theory itself. Cross-discipline, no matter what you're in, if you're in the professional world, the academic world, if you're in a different major, if you're just getting ready to retire, no matter what stage of life you're in, this is an incredibly useful theory to better understand why people act in certain ways in certain social situations, why some people will be very polite to you and very mean to others, or will be very extroverted sometimes and very introverted other times. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Comm Chats. So happy to have you all here. Don't forget, next week we're going to be talking about a brand new theory from the next set of chapters, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys, and I'll see you then.